Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place you come to when you want complex info, well, distilled into something clear and insightful. Today, we're really diving headfirst into quite a chilling story, Patrick Franklin Andrews. And this isn't just about the crimes themselves, as brutal as they were. It pulls back the curtain on these disturbing patterns of violence, patterns stretching across years, across different places, even inside institutions. We've got a stack of reports, legal documents here, and our mission really for you is to pull out the key nuggets about Andrews, his life, his crimes, and maybe most importantly, what his actions tell us about our justice system. Okay, let's unpack this.
Absolutely. And looking closely at a case like Andrews's, well, it gives us this unique lens, doesn't it? We can see how violence evolves in one person, but also the huge challenges our correctional systems face. What's really striking, I think, is how one individual's path can light up these bigger societal questions, about justice, safety. We're not just looking at a timeline here. We're looking at what this story implies about the systems meant to contain and, well, ideally rehabilitate. So the story kicks off in Washington, D.C. Patrick Franklin Andrews is born around 1980. But what's really odd, especially when you think about what happens later, is how little we actually know about his early years. The reports, well, they're surprisingly thin on his childhood, largely undocumented. But then things surface in the late 90s, and it paints a really grim, sudden picture. What does that lack of early info tell us?
That's a really key point, that gap in the record, and then this incredibly early onset of extreme violence. It's a chilling paradox. I mean, his first known murder, he was just 17, 1997. The victim was Robert Ward, 18 years old. The fact that there's no clear backstory before something that major, it suggests a kind of blind spot, maybe, where severe violence can just erupt before the system even really sees it coming. It makes you ask, how does someone get to that point without, obvious warning signs flagged earlier? The details around that first crime are murky, but it was definitely the start of something awful. And it wasn't just a one-off, was it? It escalated pretty quickly. By 2000, his behavior ramped up again. This time, he wasn't alone. He and an accomplice, Randall C. Mack, murdered Dion Rivers, again in D.C., firearms involved. The motive seems like a personal dispute, but again, the specifics are kind of elusive in the reports. So he's still young, but moving from maybe a solo act to something more calculated.
With help.
Exactly. And that progression is deeply concerning, just a few years apart. You see not just another murder, but an escalation. From acting alone, seemingly, to a planned murder with an accomplice. It's a stark reminder, isn't it, how unchecked violence can just evolve, become more planned, more collaborative, more baked in. So these first two crimes, Ward and Rivers, they led to his conviction in 2002, and the sentence was significant, 35 years to life. That decision, meant to stop him, really just set the stage for the next and, frankly, even more chilling part of his story. It showed his violence wasn't just a street thing.
Right. So Andrews is now locked up, serving a serious sentence. Most folks would think, okay, story over, he's contained. But no. It takes this even darker turn. He gets transferred. Ends up at the United States Penitentiary in Hazleton, West Virginia. And Hazleton, for anyone who doesn't know, this isn't your average prison. It's maximum security federal. Basically a supermax, designed specifically for the most dangerous inmates. And it's there, inside those supposedly secure walls, October 7, 2007, he commits his most infamous crime. I mean, what does it say when extreme violence happens in the very place built to prevent it?
That's the core of the problem, right? A place like Hazleton is designed to be a fortress, to control people deemed too dangerous for anywhere else, keep society safe, keep other inmates safe. And yet, this horrific acts still happen. It just throws into sharp relief the immense, maybe impossible challenges of managing extreme behavior, even with the tightest security. It really forces you to question the layers of security, the inmate management, the supervision, everything we rely on.
And the report's making clear, this wasn't some spontaneous fight over, commissary snacks or something. It was planned against Jesse Harris, another inmate. Andrews, again, working with someone else this time, Kevin Bellinger, used a homemade shank, a knife. The attack was fast, brutal. Harris basically had no chance. It sounds like something you'd see in a movie, but it was real. It was caught on camera.
Precisely. It's the premeditation inside that high-security setting that's so profoundly disturbing. The security footage, it apparently showed Andrews and Bellinger walk up to Harris, have a quick word, and then just launch the attack. That level of coldness, the calculation, while incarcerated, it says so much about his capacity for violence. It seems almost uncontainable. And it highlights a huge vulnerability, doesn't it? Making a weapon, getting an accomplice, planning it out, all inside a place designed to stop exactly that.
Yeah.
It shows this constant battle the system faces against, well, inmate ingenuity and just pure determined aggression. It really poses a tough question for all of us. How effective are our current prison security measures, really,
Yep.
especially for the most dangerous people? The idea that violence can not only continue, but actually be planned and executed within the walls meant to stop it, it's a massive challenge.
So after the Harris murder, the legal system, well, it responded with its full weight. Federal law. Andrews got hit with 2 really serious charges: murder by a federal prisoner serving life and second-degree murder in a federal facility. Things moved forward. A grand jury indicted him that's a panel of citizens who review evidence October 2, 2012. And the case went to the U.S. District Court in West Virginia. Seems like there was no question they'd pursue this hard.
Absolutely, and for very good reason. The response had to be robust. Think about it. A murder inside a federal pen. It shakes public confidence in the whole system. It sends a message, doesn't it? That violence inside won't be tolerated no matter what sentence someone's already serving. It's about maintaining order, protecting people inside inmates and staff, and just upholding the basic integrity of the correctional system, even when it's attacked from within.
Then in February 2015, Andrews took a plea deal. Pleaded guilty to both charges, avoided a trial. The court gave him life imprisonment, this time explicitly without the possibility of parole. So that's it. Patrick Franklin Andrews spends the rest of his life behind bars. Period. So looking at this whole path, from D.C. streets to murder inside Hazleton, what does this case in its entirety really tell us when we zoom out?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Andrew's case, as extreme as it is, it's not totally unique if you look at the broader system. It really forces us to face a difficult truth. For some people, the current prison system doesn't rehabilitate. It can actually become another stage for violence. It shows that just containing someone, well, sometimes that fails right where it matters most. This isn't just about punishing Andrews. It's about how effective our whole approach is for offenders where deterrence just doesn't seem to work. It highlights the incredibly complex behaviors we ask prisons to manage and the challenge of keeping volatile environments safe. That journey from street crime to calculated murder inside a federal penitentiary, it points to a total failure, not just of containment, but of any hope for rehabilitation for him. And it raises some really uncomfortable questions about how society protects itself from individuals who just seem impossible to contain or deter.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive into Patrick Franklin Andrews' story, it's quite a journey we've traced. Starting on the streets of D.C., continuing shockingly inside a maximum security prison, and ending with that final sentence: life without parole. It's a stark reminder of how aggression can just keep evolving, keep persisting, even resisting the most secure environments we can build.
It really is. And this case, well, it doesn't give us easy answers, does it? Instead, it kind of pushes us to think about the lessons here. It makes us reflect on whether we need more comprehensive rehab programs, maybe more nuanced ways to manage inmates, and ultimately maybe even reevaluating our whole approach to justice itself. Because the goal isn't just punishment, right? It's understanding how we can actually prevent these devastating cycles of violence, both inside prison walls and out.
Yeah. And for you listening to this, the story of Patrick Franklin Andrews isn't just some historical account. It's really an invitation, I think, an invitation to think about this fundamental tension in our justice system. When the system designed to contain and maybe rehabilitate becomes, for some, just another place for violence, what does that actually tell us about how we define justice? What could a nuanced approach even look like, not just for people like Andrews, but for everyone's safety? Especially when facing individuals who seem beyond containment. That's definitely something to chew on until our next deep dive.
If you enjoyed this video and want to dive deeper into more cases like this one, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to like the video if you found the story compelling, and share it with your friends and family who might be interested in true crime and mysteries. By subscribing, you'll stay up to date with all our latest content and join a growing community of curious minds exploring the most fascinating cases. Click the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything.